KSW.
So then the guy behind you actually has a quick question, and because you brought up the fact you love costume watching, this is the Reverend in Fuego, who's he's a big geek like myself.
Maybe in costume?
A bigger geek myself. He actually wants to ask you a question.
He owns a cloak.
Yeah.
And a wand.
Yes, actually.
Well, yes, I'll probably be wearing my cloak around, but I was wondering more for you. If you could dress up for ECCC, would you dress up as any specific character from the comic books?
No, I don't know if I, you know what, sitting in I would, if doing getting dressed up in makeup or something, I would have to probably, if I did it myself, it would be horrible. And I'm not creative enough to come up with some cool costume. If I could get a professional to do it, no, I don't know. I'm too busy like trying to run around and touch things and stuff. So I'm too excitable. So it would be horrible because I'd be getting paint or like stabbing things with my claws that I put on like comic books and stuff. So I don't know. I think I'd rather not. I'd rather I enjoy watching for sure. Awesome. Unless it was real basic like a cloak and a wand or something.
So you could get a red unitard and just run around as the Flash. It'd be pretty awesome.
That could be fun. Or a thong, just a straight up thong.
Yeah.
Nice. I can blow your mind.
As the thong man. Right? All right, yes, please.
Thong man.
Well, I've heard about how you want to make nunchucks out of some sexual aids.
Yes.
So I think that's the costume.
Oh, man, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah. The recent podcast that he and Kevin talked about, you in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, so but Toppy, now, this is Top Shelf, by the way, and we've got Jason Mewes, who's going to be at Emerald City Comic Con. Jay from Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. They're doing a podcast. That's a Sunday show. You have to get separate tickets for that, but you go to emeraldcitycomiccon.com to get those tickets, as well as to get tickets to enjoy all the festivities that are going to be happening all weekend, starting on Friday at the convention center. It's going to be awesome.
I was just going to suggest dress up as Silent Bob.
That could be fun too.
I thought, how could be a little weird too.
It would be a trip if both you and Kevin dressed as Jay and Silent Bob and see how many people actually will recognize that it's actually you, or just think, wow, those guys' costumes they're knocking it out of the park.
That could be fun. If Kevin would do it, I would do it.
The switcheroo, though, would it be? Have you guys ever done that where you've dressed as like he's dressed as Jay and you've like Toppy said you could dress as Silent Bob?
Well, we've taken a picture. There was we did Degrassi and I did a show Todd in the Book of Pure Evil, but we did a TV Guide cover and I did wear like his hat backwards and I put his coat on, but that was it. Like it wasn't full on like swapping costumes or anything, but I guess basically the costumes are pretty much that, but besides like each movie we had different shirts and pants that we sort of was the wardrobe, and my hair was a lot longer, of course, and so was his.
But you know, it's so funny, Jay, because you still, Jason, you really, there's that picture of you on Twitter, which you look all dressed up and all ready to, the one on your Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. My wife switches all the time, but I think
and that's got to be her in the picture with you.
Yes, okay, yes, that
you guys look like you're ready for the red carpet walk before the for the Oscars or something.
I think it was maybe Zach and me. It was one of the premieres that we went to that we still took that picture.
You look like such an adult.
Thanks.
I was surprised.
There's a few out there.
I kept looking at the picture, and I thought for sure I had the wrong Twitter account. I go, because how you look now is how I remember you looking like it's so iconic, and you don't look like you've aged a day since Clerks came out. And we're almost, are we closing in almost like 15, 20 years on that?
Yeah, it's almost 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
That is the
and I love Clerks, too, because you introduced a word I never heard before, but I can't even say it. But when you were talking, I think it was Jason Lee, and you called him a pickle blanker.
Yeah.
I was like, his pickle blanker gave me his eggs. Love that part.
It is people, I don't know. I feel like the difference is I feel like with the me going in and out of Dogma I was using, and then Jay and Bob I was drinking a lot. And so I'm saying what I notice in the movies, if I go back and I'm looking for pictures from the movies or scenes or whatever, for whatever it might be, is like you see in Jay and Bob, I was 15 pounds heavier than Dogma. I'm I think I was probably about maybe 10 pounds lighter than I am now. So that I find interesting. You could see my face is I'm like younger. In Clerks, I'm younger, but I'm a little skinnier. And then I don't know. It's interesting to see yourself over the years. And then people have pictures that like I don't even remember. Like there's a picture someone has of me at San Diego Comic-Con when I was really bad on the drugs, on the painkillers, and I'm like sitting there and I'm eating a sandwich, but I fell asleep. And somehow someone like got a picture of me, but I think it's pretty funny. I mean, it is what it is. We talk about it all the time, so it doesn't really bother me. If anything, it's sort of like I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's another picture of this girl I dated when I was really bad, and I used to go to these like Motorola parties and stuff, and I'm so thin. I'm probably I'm like 180 right now, and I was like 155 pounds, 160 pounds in this picture. So you see me like me and her walking into the party, I'm like. Like super sucked up, and it's interesting, but I would say it's interesting that
Well, you're getting old, and I think it's because we've talked to Kevin, and Kevin's like an open book, and I think the West Coast has helped out a lot as well as the marijuana, because I mean he's an East Coaster just like you are, and we know the edge that's out there. And Kevin has talked about how and even gets made fun of a little bit by the guys on Comic Book Man because he's got such a little bit of a laid back attitude now because he spends time on the left coast. And also getting old does that because he's sitting there going, dude, I'm 40 now. So I'm wondering for you, what is this getting old phenomenon? Because I would imagine it's not something you thought about because the kind of life you led, old people probably were like, get this person away from me. And now you're getting closer to those kind of people with the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. So what is that phenomenon for you?
I mean, for me, I feel it's more just like, now being married and stuff to me has been a big difference just because of even just what I do every day. Like, when I was single, or even just seeing people regardless of age, even like right before I met the wife, I was I'd go out every night. Even when I was sober, like I'd go out with a bunch of my friends, and I just feel like for me, it would just be, now I feel like I'm more focused on work as I get older. And like now I feel like I'm married, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, man, I want to work, especially because, you never know what's gonna. I've had the ups and downs of like, barely getting kicked out of my apartment to, doing Jay and Bob and having a bunch of money where I spent it on this and like toys, like motorcycles and stuff I don't need.
Do you give people a figure of how much you've blown that you go, yeah, I kind of blew it on? Like how much you're talking?
Well, I mean, on toys and that, I mean, I don't know. It's been few $100,000 at least, I would say, on the drugs and stuff.
Do you look in the mirror and go, Jesus, it's amazing? Or is it just like, well, that's what I was doing?
Well, I mean,
because that seems like a lot of dough, but I mean, everything is relative.
Yeah, it is. It's like, I feel like the more I had, the more I would do. But also when you have no money, even the times where I'd run out of money, but I'd still like somehow get money, because I'd like make money, and then I'd be doing good, and then all of a sudden I'd fall off the deep end, and I just wasn't. Even when I was sober, though, what I'm saying is, like, besides spending money on drugs, even when I'd get sober and when I was younger, I didn't care as much about what I spent money on. I'd buy a bunch of remote control cars that cost, $2,000 a piece, and drive them around in the mud and stuff like that. And then, go to comic book shows and just be like, I want one of those and one of these and one of these.
Now, some would argue that those were actually good purchases. The drugs, people could argue that. What did you do with that? Yeah, but the other toys you're talking about, hey, we can't throw stones there. Us geeks, that's what we do.
No, but now I can't buy three, and now I got to be like, okay, I got to make sure I put a little money aside for if I have children, hopefully. I'm trying to talk my wife into that now, but I want to make sure I just put some money aside, where I feel like when I was younger, I didn't care at all. I wasn't thinking like, I got to make sure I put money away for the future.
I argue with my wife though about the toys though, which is cool.
I still buy toys.
Because you can argue that they're for the children. The children will love these. I mean, my wife would look at me and go, these comic books, I'm going to pass them along to them, honey. Do you know how much money they? She's looking at me going, really?
I just kind of fight my wife, because the new iPad came out, and I have one of the older ones, but I wanted the new one.
Of
and
course.
She's like, do you really need the new iPad right now? And I'm like, well, no, but I got one anyway. So, but yeah. So,
I'll tell you what, Jason, it's been awesome to have you in, and I want to tell you this right now. You've got to check out first of all, if you haven't checked out Jay and Silent Bob Get Older podcast, you should anyway, because it's a lot of fun. Jason, Jay tells some great stories about probably we don't know where it comes from in his life. Also, Jay, I think it's awesome that Kevin has given you because he saw something in you and he put it on screen. And I don't know if you ever thought you could be entertaining just besides around people, but he proved that you could be entertaining to a large amount of people, and that's cool that he gave us you know. And we're happy to have you in. And make sure you check out Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. The live podcast are happening at 7 p.m. on Sunday. It's all part of the great stuff going on at Emerald City Comic Con, but the tickets are separate. Get them at emeraldcitycomiccon.com, as well as all your tickets for the events going on Friday, Saturday as well. And it's a big recording of the podcast. You'll get to see that. And Jay, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
man. Awesome. And again, it's Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Jason Mewes, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.